And if you want to know everything about eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the ugly of living in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area, Minneapolis, St. Paul, for us locals here, subscribe to the channel. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if you're going to be moving in the next 9 days, the next 90 days. You could email me, text me, fill out a form. If you want to send a pigeon carrier, I don't care. I will make it a smooth transition for you to move here to Minnesota. So today, what we're going to cover is the 5 neighborhoods that you might want to be considering moving to in the Minneapolis area. There's 5 great neighborhoods that you definitely want to be checking out. I ranked them, or I shouldn't say I ranked them. I looked them up online, did a little research, and they are ranked from niche.com, from quality of life, school districts, medium household income. I mean, just everything that is ranked for the top 5 neighborhoods. So let's go ahead and dive into it. You'll see my little right there. Contact info is in my bio if you want to reach out to me, and we'll make a smooth transition. But I know how much you love the map tours, so let's go ahead and dive into a map tour as well. So you get to kind of know the area, but the ones that we're going to be covering is McAllister Grove Land, St. Anthony Park, Summit Hill, Union Park, and of course Highland and Como. We can't forget about Como. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Okay, the first one on the list is McAllister Grove Land. Now that I moved my big head out of the way, I can show you this neighborhood. So overall, it's an A plus. That's why it's number 1 on the list. From public schools is a B plus, housing A minus, good for families A plus, crime and safety, nightlife, diversity. So McAllister is a neighborhood over in the St. Paul area. So St. Paul is east of Minneapolis. So that's why we call it the Twin Cities. So St. Paul and Minneapolis are only about, 15 minutes apart from each other, depending on traffic and if it is snowing or not. I mean, if it's snowing, God, it could be light years away. I mean, that's the way it is in Minnesota, but it has a population of about 16,000. It is in Ramsey County, and it's one of the best places to live in Minnesota. So living in McAllister is great. I mean, the medium household, real estate is in the 400s. Rent, if you're thinking about renting, it can be about 1,200. I think that's really low, to tell you the truth. I mean, rent right now is just through the roof. We're talking a good quality place, at least 1,500, you guys, if you're going to be looking at that. And if you're considering renting for 1,500 or 1,800, definitely talk to me about being a first-time home buyer. If you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, you qualify as a first-time home buyer again. So let's talk about that. Basically, what that means as a first-time home buyer is there's programs out there that will assist you and cover your down payment for you. There's nothing better than that, right? I mean, who doesn't want someone else to help you with the down payment? So medium house value in the 400s, we'll dig into that a little bit. And then on the map here, I want to show you where this is actually in the Twin Cities area. So we'll kind of zoom this out a little bit, but McAllister neighborhood is right over here. So Minneapolis, and then, you're going to be in the 400, 300 range. Now, to give you a little bit of context here, this St. Paul area over here, a lot of times is more budget friendly. It is lower prices in homes versus, like the northwest area of the Twin Cities here. And when I mean the west area of northwest, yes, is like your Plymouth, your Minnetonkas, your Wyzetas. I mean, this is a newer section of the Minneapolis area. So I'm just to draw here. This over here is a little bit newer. That's why, a little bit more expensive. St. Paul is obviously more of a mature, metro. So, okay. And the next one, if you're looking at crime and safety, A plus. I mean, you can't do better than that, right? From what I'm remembering in school, can't do better than A plus, but maybe, I mean, there was always extra credit, A plus plus. You know who you are for that extra credit. It wasn't me, but that is the first one on the list. Second one, number 2, one of my favorites, St. Anthony Park happens to be. It's over in between the St. Paul area again. Another A plus. Public schools is a B minus. Housing is a B. Great for families. Crime, nightlife, and diversity are all in the A's. And St. Anthony Park is just a neighborhood over in St. Paul. Population roughly about 7,000 for that neighborhood. And St. Anthony Park is part of the Ramsey County. And Ramsey County is one of the best places to live, in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area as well. So you'll notice here is the median home value in your 350s. Rent is, they say 1,200, but I'm telling you, it's closer to 15. Rent is just incredibly expensive right now. And then on the map here, we'll dive in, zoom this out a little bit. You could kind of see where St. Anthony Park is. This is right by the Minneapolis side of it. You got your Como Park is going to be over here too, but St. Anthony is a great place to live, you guys. Oh my God. If you love being close to the metro area, I highly suggest St. Anthony Park for sure on that. So, and are we still on? Make sure we're still on the same one here in McAllister and St. Anthony. Here we go. Zoom that out. And number 3 on the list, this one might surprise you if you're from the area and you know a little bit about this, is Summit Hill. Same thing, another A plus. Public schools, B plus. Housing is going to be B. And the rest, you guys are basically in the A plus. I mean, if you love the nightlife, and I mean, if you're used to living in the Vegas nightlife, this is a great area, A plus for nightlife. Summit Hill is another neighborhood over in the St. Paul area, another in the 7,000 population side of it. It's great for bars, restaurants, coffee shops, parks. A lot of young professionals live in Summit Hills, and the residents, around that area. Medium home value is closer to that 450. Rent 1,200. Come on, you guys, niche.com, you better update this, because we all know it costs a little bit more to live in that area for rent purposes here. So we'll dive into the map, but going into the crime rates, if you really want to dive into this, I mean, this is great. Look at this, A plus for the crime rates. In your residents, diversity, and of course, the top public schools. These are the top ones in the area. So on the map here, let's dive into this. Here, I'll show you where Summit Hill is according to the other ones. So this is going to be on the southeast area of St. Paul, kind of by the river down here, but this is another great area, this neighborhood right here. You do have some of the older homes in here, and of course you do have the houses are going to be above the 500,000 in this category. So that's always a fun area to check out for sure. And the next one on the list is going to be Highland. Highland's another great area. Again, another A plus. That's why these are in the top 5, you guys, because they're all in the A plus range. Public schools, housing in the B's. But you know what, you guys, for public schools, even on the B plus, I think it's still really good. because if it's an A plus or a B plus, I am a true advocate. Now, leave a comment below if you don't believe in this, but it is how much effort you put into it. How much effort does your child, son or daughter, put into it? You might be at the very best school in the whole Twin Cities area, but if there's no effort from the kid, does it really matter? Just an opinion. Leave your opinion in the comments below. What do you think? I love to hear another opinion on that, So Highland Park, again, over in the St. Paul area. It's a little bit more populated, closer to your 17,000 in that area, but it's still awesome for local bars, restaurants, coffee shops, parks, a lot of parks. Many families, young professionals live in the Highland Park area. The medium home value is closer to the 400. And you know my feeling about the rent. So $1,500 for rent. I'm going to pull up a calculator. Just think about this for a second. $1,500 for rent times 12. You're giving $18,000 to someone else for 1 year of rent. Just 1 year. And how long does a typical person maybe rent for, possibly in an apartment? Let's just call it 3 years, right? 3 years of renting. You're going to give someone else $54,000. Think about that. $54,000. And if you could qualify as a first-time home buyer, where they help you assist with the down payments, where it's virtually like moving into an apartment, wouldn't you rather put $54,000 into equity? $54,000 is something that you own? I mean, I know I would. So if you haven't thought about that, let's discuss that information in the bio. Well, let's go dive into the map again, where Highland is. And this is another section of the St. Paul area. And this is going to be, your 500s, your 600s. I mean, there are other homes in this area in the 300s, but this is, old, matured homes in the area, Victorian homes, gorgeous houses over in this area. Another reason why it's in, the top 5. So it's between the two Twin Cities here, Minneapolis and St. Paul. And we can kind of dive into more of an in-depth map tour if you like, but I'm just covering the top 5 neighborhoods of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Crime rate, an A+ again. Great. Diversity, A-. Medium household income, a little over 100,000. So master's degree, bachelor's degree, you can kind of see the the breakdown of that, the top schools in that area, and of course the favorite places that people go in this neighborhood, Como, St. Louis Park. We talked about those places to live as well. So, and the next one on the list here is Union Park, another A+. Public schools, housing, B's, everything else is an A. You can't do better than an A. I'm pretty sure of that in elementary, grading system. But if you're in Europe, they do it between 1 and 10, I think. So, and 1 is the best, I believe. But if you know anything about Europe grading, leave a comment below. So another neighborhood in St. Paul, population a little over, 13,000. Union Park is great for the bars, the restaurants, coffee shops. If you love your coffee, this would be another great place of the Twin Cities, and lots of parks. Medium home value in your 350s. The rent, I don't want to beat a dead horse on that, but come on, 1,200. We're talking a little bit more for rent in that area for sure. A decent place, I should say, a decent place. And in the map area, I'll show you where it is, where Union Park is. So right in the middle again of the two areas. So I think you're seeing a theme here where the best areas are. Let me kind of get my drawing tools. here. Are you noticing some of the best areas are right in here? Remember that St. Anthony was right here, and the other ones were right in this area too. I mean, Como is another one on the list, and it's going to be right in this area. So this is a great area to live in the Twin Cities, especially if you're maybe going to work downtown in Minneapolis, or if you're going to work in the St. Paul area. I mean, some of the great places to live. So, crime rate, A+ on that. Residents, A-. Medium household income in this area is going to be 80,000. And of course, these are the top serving schools in the area, all done with niche.com. Thank you, niche.com, for doing the homework on this, so I don't have to go dig into every single one. But here's the last one, number 5 on the list. One of my favorite areas is Como. Como is another great area, another A+, of course. Housing, A-, good for families, A+, and the rest are all A's, you guys. Como is a neighborhood in St. Paul, population close to 20,000. It's great for restaurants, coffee shops, bars. Many young professionals live in this area, and the medium home value is going to be in the 250s here. So if you're on a certain kind of a budget, maybe Como might be a great place. And the rent, no, I don't agree. Niche.com, it's definitely going to be over $1,000 if you want a decent place. When I say this, I mean a decent place. And unless if you know a decent place to live in the Como Park area, leave a comment below. Love to learn about new opportunities for people that are moving in from out of town. But this is where Como is. Como Park, great place. Como is also the home of, can we say, the zoo? Great zoo of Como, and there's a huge park here too, the Como Park. As you can see here, how large this is. So this is a great area for that. And moving down, crime and safety are an A. The residents, A-, and the rest is things that you guys can check out. But let's do this really quick, just as a fun, because how much I love Google Earth. You can watch some of my other videos on here, but let's jump to Como Park over in St. Paul. We talked about the zoo. There's 2 zoos, Como Park here, and there is a zoo over in Apple Valley. But what's great about this zoo is it's a free zoo, and that's why I bring this up. But you can kind of get a glimpse of this park here called a zoo at the same time here. You got the conservatory here. You get the giraffes are back here. Giraffe feeding area. It's so much fun going to this zoo here. So you got a family. You want to take the kiddos to the park, and you want to also see some animals. Como Park Zoo is an amazing place. The conservatory, a lot of weddings are in this park, but check out these little guys. A lot of weddings in the conservatory here. So I wanted to kind of just show you that as the very last thing. Check out those. Oh man, I love animals. You'll find that out about me. But check out Como Park if you haven't. If you have any questions, check out my contact info in the bio. Fill out a form, and I'm here to help you make a smooth transition to the Minneapolis area. And these are the 5 neighborhoods that you want to consider moving to in Minneapolis. If you have another neighborhood that you would want to know more about, you're interested in, reach out to me, email, text. I'm available, and I hope to connect with you soon.